and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Here we go. Off and running with you here today on this Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday, everybody. How y'all are? Welcome into the Bureau. That is the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team all across the great state of Mississippi. All 82 counties in Mississippi, your hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. Most importantly, you are here. Therefore, we have a reason to be here. Appreciate you coming out. And whatever you want to get into is cool with me today on this Wednesday. It's that time of year. Kind of feels like transition time, right? You know, slowly but surely kind of transitioning from school and organized sports to summer mode for a month or two. And then we'll slowly transition back over into school mode and organized sports again, right? And in the meantime, maybe Major League Baseball get us through the summer. Yeah, something like that. Something like that, kind of depending on who you are and where you are. Happy, by the way, happy National Catfish Day. Yep, it is. Significance, I guess, again, that depends on who you are. But I would say for those of us here in the state of Mississippi, most of us are really fond of the catfish for different reasons. Most of us like to eat it. So happy National Catfish Day. So we got that going for us here today also. Yeah, and look, I guess I ought to just put it out there. I went and did it. And, I started it with a question yesterday, but then I went and did it almost inadvertently. That is, we started talking about the hitting streak. Started talking about Jake's hitting streak, and then guess what happened? Yep. He went 0 for 4 last night, and it came to an end. Is it because of me? Am I the reason? I don't know. Anyhow, let me know. Get on in here today on this Wednesday. Love to hear from you. Whatever you want to get into is cool with me on National Catfish Day. You can text the show on the Country Pleasin' text line, Country Pleasin' Sausage on grocery store shelves all across the Southeast. It's the best. The number to text is 885-3776. Got it? 601 number, 885-3776. Text me right there. It's a Country Pleasin' text line. Hey, speaking of, note to self, speaking of Country Pleasin', we're going to be eating good this time in a couple of days from now. On Friday, live for this radio show on Friday at Camper Corral in Madison/Gluckstadt. Right up there, you can see all those campers and RVs from I-55 when you come through there at the Gluckstadt exit. They're at Camper Corral. We'll be there from 12 to 2 doing the show. And lots of tasty treats from Country Meat Packers and Country Pleasin' Sausage included. I know for a fact my man Thomas went and loaded it all up at Country Meat Packers, and he's ready to cook. Or somebody's going to cook. I know that. And Bill's going to get a free lunch out of the deal. And I promised Beaver I'd take him some before I left town, too. All of that on Friday for the show at Camper Corral as a part of their big customer appreciation sale. It starts on Thursday, goes through Saturday. So it's 3 days. So we're doing the radio show there Friday. But the sale goes on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And those 3 days, 20% off all the parts that they're going to sell. 20 to 40% off MSRP on all their campers. And if you buy a new or used camper or RV during that time, those 3 days, you're automatically entered to in a drawing to win one of those Flex Armor roof upgrades, and that can run anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 right there. So we're going to have a big time, including some Country Pleasin' right in the middle of it on Friday. So we'll see you out there. You can also call me today on the Davini Equipment phone line. The number to call is 897-1059. 601 number, 897-1059. Now, look, I'm coming to the text line. Jason and Unnamed and all y'all, I'm coming to your text. We got some comments already on the live stream. That's another way. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, if you pop a comment in there, I'll see it and have a chance to pull it up on the screen. For example, a huge congratulations and a shout out to a longtime listener of the show, friend of the show. She's on Facebook. Roshana just commented on Facebook and said, "Hey, Matt, life update. I just got accepted in the nursing school." Congratulations. Roshana, congratulations. Proud of you. Proud for you. And accepted. You know, I think what even for Roshana, what might even be more appropriate, she's a big State fan. Here you go. Just for you. All right. Congrats. What else we got? Hale State fan commented on YouTube and said, "I think I'll start watching reruns of our Snow Bowl game against A&M in hopes that somehow it will cool me off." Yeah, humidity is brutal today. It is, isn't it? It is. I don't know about y'all. I know this in North Mississippi. You know, we had just the rainiest, wettest couple of 3 months there that we've had in the entire time that I've lived in Tupelo. Like, they were setting records in Tupelo. And it wasn't just, we never got just rain. It was always a monsoon going on every day. But however that happened, all those different fronts and stuff coming through, we had a particularly mild, May and early June so far when it came to temperatures and in some cases humidity. There was a couple of days ago, something came through at night, and afterwards I was like, I can't believe how it feels. But now we're full on. I mean, we're baking in here, right? I mean, you walk outside and you hadn't even sweated yet, but you're wet because it's so humid. Yeah, the way Hunter commented, he said, the air is so thick I could eat it. It's like that Bugs Bunny cartoon. Yeah, I know. That's just the way it is, right? It's just the way it is here this time of year. Okay, as promised, I said, we're coming to the text. Jason and Dog Tired and 1980 and RT and Unnamed and everybody. But I want to check in with Beav and just make sure he's cool. Make sure all is well in Beaverland. Happy Wednesday, Beav. You good?
I'm good, Matt Wyatt.
And
let me tell you, I thought this was interesting.
Okay.
Just a few minutes ago, about 3-4 minutes into the show, I got a call asking me, "Hey, Matt, yesterday Matt was talking about a brand of pie." And he said, "I couldn't remember the name of it, though. What is it?" And I told him, and he said, "Yeah, because I went and looked for it yesterday."
Really?
Is what he said. So you got in this person's head, and you caused him to go look for this pie, and you also got in someone else's head.
Yours?
This guy. I went searching for this pie yesterday.
Yeah.
Now I've found out that it's Craven, by the way, to remind anyone. But Matt Wyatt, I've looked into this Craven brand.
Okay.
That you love.
Yeah. Well, I love that particular pie that I came across this weekend.
Yeah. So they make the pie. You know, they also have cookies, ice creams, cheese, mozzarella sticks, cheese curds, breakfast bites, crackers, pizza rolls. Like, they're making all kinds of things.
Okay. Well, then here's my skepticism coming out, though, Beaver, is like anybody making all that kind of stuff, it can't be all good.
Yeah.
Maybe they should just focus on one thing. You know what I mean? It's like a restaurant that serves about 4 different types of food. Like, just pick one and be good at that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're doing too much.
Yeah, doing too much. Like the menu's too big. That's okay, though. I'll tell you about this pie, Beaver. At some point, I'll have to get Annabeth to tell you. Today, after lunch, I got a piece of that pie, coconut cream pie. And there's still some left. I hadn't finished it off. But she's starting to pick on me a little bit about eating it all the time. And today, Annabeth goes, "How was your pie?" That's all she said. "How was your pie?" But she said it in such a way as it insinuated, like under the surface, "Hey, are you sure you should be eating that much pie that often?" That was the insinuation. But here's the thing. It's worth it, Beaver.
Yeah, I don't like to hear this. I don't like her coming at you. You simply respond to her next time when you get that, because I'm sure there was a tone to it that you kind of picked up on. "Oh, how was your pie?" You just simply say, "For better or worse, Annabeth."
That's it. That's what you married. A pie eating, you know what? I thought this in my head, but I didn't say it out loud to her, but I was about to say this out loud. Look, I got the thing on Sunday, okay? I'm doing pretty good because here it is Wednesday and I still have some left. Right? It's not like I'm being totally gluttonous. I'm a little at a time in here. Yeah, but it's really good. Okay, so whoever you are, I don't know if... Did the guy who called not get one? He couldn't find it?
No, he couldn't find it.
Okay. I just think it might be the best frozen pie like that I've ever had, where you let it thaw and then, chip away at it over a course of a few days. I'm real proud of it. I think I'll be buying another one at some point. That's what I think. All right. Cue it up. Oh, and Beaver. Oh, I'm holding on to a story here. I think we're going to have it in headlines maybe in the next segment. And, I can't wait to get to it. You being the music lover, I think you're really going to get a kick out of this story that I've got in headlines. And it's 100% sports related. Oh, and I know I'm teasing it. I'm building it up, but you're going to like it. So just you stay tuned for that, old buddy, old pal. My music loving friend over there. All right, Jason in Flagstaff, he texted the show, Country Pleasing text line. He said, off topic. He said, but I dang near stood up and cheered when I got the notification for your new wildlife show this morning. Outstanding. Well, thanks, Jason. Yeah, you being the critter lover. Your words, in fact. Your words, in fact, not mine. Yeah, look, they post new episodes of the Mississippi Outdoors podcast every Wednesday. So a new one came out today, and the title of it is Urban Wildlife in Mississippi with Adam Ronke. And it was fascinating for me, but entertaining at the same time whenever recorded. Adam is a really interesting guy. Super bright, obviously. He's with Mississippi State University's Central Mississippi Research and Extension Center. Okay, and they have this program going on. And they've done it in several areas, but like they're doing it in Jackson right now. It's called the Jackson Urban Wildlife Project. It is a camera-based monitoring program. It's tied into a whole national network that does this kind of thing. And it says here, it shares how citizen scientists play a key role in keeping up with, tracking, seeing, and alerting what kind of critters and wildlife are popping up right here in metro areas. We're not talking about out in the woods, 100 miles from civilization. No, I'm talking about right over here at LaFleur's Bluff, or just, you know what I mean? Downtown Jackson. Bobcats. I'm talking about bobcats and coyotes popping up within a short distance of like the Capitol. and stuff like that they've seen on cameras. And so it's really neat. If you're into that kind of thing, you can check it out. It's they put it out there today, the newest episode of the Mississippi Outdoors podcast from MDWFP, Adam Ronke with MSU Extension, Urban Wildlife in Mississippi. You'll really enjoy that, because there was a few things I said, like, okay, what's the weirdest thing you've run into, like, in a downtown area? He starts answering those questions. It gets interesting really quick. I think you'll enjoy it. All right. Glad you liked it, Jason. Unnamed texter says also, how do I... Wait, I got to back up. He had three texts here. He said, too many Ole Miss fans started wearing Tampa gear. Why, though? It's completely their fault, although don't mention it the next time. I think you mean Mississippi State fans, right? And he says, don't mention it the next time he starts another streak, because you know he will, and I do know that. Okay, and then says also, how do I not be known as, quote, unnamed texter? I've been listening and texting for several years. All you got to do is text me a name. Text me a name, and I'll type it in, and so the next time you text, we'll have a name to go by. It's that simple, so just text me a name. On the Country Pleasing text line, 885-3776. MSU 1980 texted the show, says, Matt, I looked up that house on Highway 3 in Yazoo County you talked about a few weeks ago, and found that they dropped the price a couple $100,000. It's now just below $1 million. I saw that right after we talked about it. Okay, which consequently, and I'm not making this up, that day it was listed at like $1.2 million. Beaver gets into the discussion with me on the radio, and he said in his opinion it looked like it was haunted, and immediately they dropped it $200,000. That's exactly how the sequence of events on our timeline played out. Now, whether or not they're related, had anything to do with each other, I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny. I can't. I just know those things happen in order. It's a true story. You talk about a beautiful place, though. Yeah, Joe Mailman says, well, Craven's going to have your check in the mail. We didn't reach out to them, the Craven brand of snacks. I just was telling you a real life story of something that happened. You know how it is. I'm saying somebody goes, okay, a frozen pie out of the grocery, like it's frozen in a box, you're going to thaw it out. You know, it's not homemade, whatever. It has a certain connotation. And then I tasted it, and I was like, it's great. This is phenomenal. In fact, I think it's the best frozen pie I've ever had. So part of getting another one was, I wanted it, but also wanted to see if that was a one-off. Nope. The other one's good too. So it's not a sponsorship deal. Maybe it could be. If you know them, Joe, let them know. Rosanna sent a picture here, and she said, I've been to 3 Kroger's looking for the cherry plums. What's that all about? What's the big deal of the cherry plums, Rosanna? Just, are they the small plums? Are good to eat? Dog Tired in Florence says, I'm jealous of Jason in Flagstaff. High altitude, either hot or cold, no humidity, therefore possibly no sweating. Says, I worked north of him for 6 years. I sweated more getting my luggage from Jackson International Airport than you did up there. Yeah, I mean, it's still hot. You're not sweating as much. You don't ruin your clothes, right? But you do have to hydrate like crazy because it gets hot enough. It's just evaporating in it right off the top of your head. Here's our man, Denzel, the Little Hugs fruit barrel drink lover, with a baseball stat of the day. He said, yesterday, Christian Moore became the first player in history to hit a game-tying home run, a game-winning home run, and drive in all the runs for his team in the Angels' 3-2 victory over Boston yesterday. That's pretty, it's incredible to think that that's never happened before. Thanks for that. All right, another picture here. This was from Grumpy, and he says, Matt, this is 30 feet of Grumpy's creek wall that he's been working on for the last 9 months. Grumpy, very pleased with the outcome. As far as pies go, Marie Callender has a very good line of frozen pies available at both Walmart and Kroger. Signed, Hale State. Hey, this wall, 30-foot concrete wall, when you say you've been working on it for 9 months, what do you mean, Grumpy, by yourself? Surely not. One way or the other, it's extremely impressive, and congrats on getting it to that point. And if you hire out, give me a shout. Lots of work needs to be done around here. Jason in Flagstaff says they do that here, and it's one of the very few things I actually like about the place. Talking about the Urban Wildlife Project. Folks with game cameras everywhere see all sorts of things, he says, and put it on social/local media, as opposed to charging out the back door and Yosemite Samming the neighborhood. Yeah, again, the cool thing that Adam was telling us about in that Urban Wildlife Project, you can hear about it on today's episode of the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, is anybody can participate in it. Any citizen can participate in it, and anybody can get on there and track and see what's being seen in different areas. It's just a cool thing if you like that sort of thing. And you might be surprised. Okay, more of your texts. I got headlines coming up, including one music/sports story that I will admit it's pretty cool, even though it is another SEC school. Stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar, or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. What that is. That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. It's where it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here and the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. Get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gent.
And we're live at the Zone 1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! The home team. Well, Jake Mangum, he was on the visiting team last night for the Rays. They were in Kansas City, and they won the game, but he didn't get a hit. But Gene on Facebook did point out, didn't Jake get an RBI on a field of chores? He did. He did drive in a run. So he's still, even on a night when he doesn't get a hit, he still finds ways to beat you. It's just, they're winning. And the Yankees lost, and so the Rays are one game back. Yes, sir. Let's see. Sven commented here on YouTube. He said, "Hail State, everyone." He said, "Well, baseball is over and football is coming." Said, "I don't think State competes for a national title, but I really want to see major progress, especially on the defensive side." Hunter agreed with him on YouTube, said, "I agree, and I expect improvements when they brought in 11 D-line guys and 2 veteran coaches with D-coordinator experience." That's one thing that hadn't been talked about a whole lot, but Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes, 2 former head coaches, defensive coordinators, lots of experience on the defensive side of the ball. 2 guys that are in there now as analysts. That's really, and they're going to help you. They are going to help. It's just a matter of how much. Another football thought from those 2. Hunter went on to say, on offense, we have a good running back room, really good tight end, I think a good quarterback room. I think State's 2 big questions are the 2 lines of scrimmage. I think that's a pretty good synopsis right there, Hunter. Sven followed up with 4-8 with a 30% chance of a 5th win and said that's the best we can hope for. Well, that'd be doubling it, right? If you do that, you're doubling your wins from a year ago. RT, it's a good question. I don't know. He said, "I wonder if Jake looked at the stats after the game last night." He probably did. They all do now, right? Yeah, it was somebody a minute ago when they mentioned Tampa and Ole Miss and said, there for a while there were a lot of Ole Miss fans wearing Tampa stuff, and I didn't know what the connection was. And RT was saying it could have been you had Michael Spurlock and Dexter McCluster, both played for the Bucks. Then he mentioned Spurlock and Ellis Wims, both from Indianola. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Ellis Wims, and RT over the years, I'll start, reminiscing about those defenses we had in the 90s, in the late 90s, 97, 98, 99. 98, 99, you had the number 1 defense in the country, and I start rattling off all those defensive line names that played in the NFL, and a lot of times I leave Ellis off, and I shouldn't. He played. He was a freshman, like he was younger than John Hilliard and Dorsett and all those guys, but he played on those same teams. Like, I know 99, I can't remember if he was there in 98 or not, but then, he's another one, went on to the NFL and played 10 years in the NFL as a defensive lineman. That defensive front on those teams was loaded, and that's why we won. primarily why we won. Not that we weren't good in other spots, but it was built. Those teams were built from the inside out. All right, I promise I'm going to come back to your texts. We're going to do that. Rebel Tiger Dog and Jason and Dog Tired and Grumpy and all y'all. We got plenty of time to do it here as we're still kind of getting started. But since we are still getting started, in hour one, let's go headlines for you.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Anything mortgage related, buying, refinancing, whatever. Here in the metro, places like Starkville and Oxford and Tupelo and Memphis and all points in between, that's where you go. mortgagemanms.com. All right. So, a bit of a repeat, but just a heads up. I went talking on the radio yesterday about Jake Mangum's hit streak, and it came to an end last night. So maybe I'm the reason. If so, I apologize. But he did drive in a run on a fielder's choice. He's 0 for 4, but had the RBI, and the Rays win 5-1. Meanwhile, the Yankees had an extra innings loss in 11 in Cincinnati to the Reds, and with that, the Rays are 1 game out of first place. They'll play it again tonight in Kansas City, and we'll see what happens. Story number 2. We may be getting a decision on the NCAA basketball tournament expansion or not really soon. Story says a decision on whether or not to expand the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments will be made in the upcoming weeks, sources told ESPN. Listen, hold on a second. What reaction would you get if you needed to make a decision on something and your response was this? Well, I expect to have a response and have a decision made for you in the upcoming weeks. What if Annabeth said to me, hey, we got to, some things we got to get planned out, before school starts back, and, this and that. And, what do you think about this on this particular day? And what if I said to her, I love you, and I expect to have a decision for you in the upcoming weeks? That's a pretty good example of how real life for real people is often much different than it is for big groups and big entities and so on and so forth. But we may get a decision. It looks like they're probably going to expand it. If the decision is made to expand the NCAA tournament, it would begin in 25-26, so soon, like right around the corner. But anyway, there's your update on that. Now this is what I teased about wanting Beaver to hear. Now, I don't think Beaver's playing video games much anymore. I'm not, but I think this is a cool story. When you boot up to play College Football 26 this summer, the college football video game, you're going to be greeted by the Auburn University Marching Band playing the theme, the main theme for College Football 26. Now, hang on. It's the main theme for College Football 26, this video game. The Auburn band put it out there. This was like on Monday and kind of showed some behind the scenes of how the video game people came to them and chose the Auburn band to perform and record the main theme. That's what you're going to be hearing. But here's what it's based on. And this is according to Auburn University's band's Instagram account. The developer of the video game, Electronic Arts, was inspired by the Auburn Marching Band's halftime performance at a 2023 game between the Auburn Tigers and the Ole Miss Rebels, which featured, here it is, a Metallica-themed halftime and light show by the Auburn Band. I've gone and found it. Here is a snippet of what led to this. The Auburn Band's Metallica halftime show. What do you think? What do you think? You can actually go watch it, video of it. It's on YouTube. Pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, it is good. I'll answer that for you. Yeah, so I thought it was really neat. And again, that is only a snippet of it. And the story that I saw, they linked the video. You could go click on it, watch it. It's on YouTube. 2023 Auburn halftime show when they hosted Ole Miss. They had a light show and everything. The whole thing was Metallica themed. The quote on the caption on this Auburn Band post a couple days ago said, "That's right. The same folks at EA who saw our Metallica light show said we need that energy. So they came to Auburn to capture it firsthand." And they posted, you can see pictures. They had the band positioned in a certain way inside their basketball arena, recorded them playing the theme for this, College Football 26 video game. And it all goes back to that performance of the halftime show. It was really, really neat. Now, in making that a part of the headlines, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank, I ran up against the break. So we'll ponder it. And when we come back, I'm going to get Bieber's honest reaction to that. And more. Your calls, your texts, your comments here on the show. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, staying connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. Stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MurrayWest.com.
had this opportunity come up through a friend of mine that was an agent here at Farm Bureau that, you know, he said this may be something I like to do because he knew I was involved in the community. And what we do, we're supporting the community. We're doing stuff to protect the members of our community. I've been here almost a decade. And what we do, we help people every day through the products we sell. We make recommendations to them, stuff to protect their assets, protect their lives, their families, and you know, we're local. We're local people. Everybody that works in this office has grown up here, lived here, played ball in this community. I've coached in this community, been on the park boards, the sports league boards, the booster club boards. The community is what's important here in Farm Bureau. We push the local community. We're a Mississippi company. That's a Washington School team ball from 2019. Greg Wallace was the head coach then, and him and I were really good friends. I've been in Greenville my whole entire life. My family's been here. This is home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support the people of Washington County, protect them. I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County. We are the home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now.
On the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Hail State fan said, well, at least Auburn is good at something. Hunter said nothing else matters. Says this is in regards to 2 years ago, the creators of that college football video game, EA Sports, went to the Auburn-Ole Miss game in Auburn. Auburn had a halftime show, a light show with it, where it was all Metallica themed. And they got the idea, and that led to them inviting the Auburn band to be the one that plays the intro and the theme for the college football 26 game coming out this summer. And you can go watch that entire Auburn Metallica themed halftime light show. The whole thing's pretty good. Especially, I guess, a diehard Metallica fan would recognize all of it. I played you just a snippet of it a minute ago. And Tony commented on the Country Pleasing text line. He said, I hate to say it, but props to the War Eagle band. I mean, it is good. They had like guys with guitars and stuff down there. All right. The man who knows 10 times more about music, especially anything 90s related than I will ever know, works here and is on this show. His name is Beaver. Beaver, how's this strike you right here, this Metallica Auburn band mashup?
Well, it started out with a couple things working against it, just for me personally.
Okay.
A1, I don't like Auburn. B2, I don't like Metallica. but for a college band, that's pretty excellent.
Yeah.
I would actually say superior to Sonic Boom.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, there's a way we might could settle this too. I'm scrolling up here to see if I can find it. So Auburn, their mascot, they are the Tigers, right? And
sometimes tigers, sometimes eagles. They don't know. They've never known what they want to be.
it's a war eagle tiger. Okay, but they technically are the Auburn Tigers. And they play the Tiger Rag, which is sort of a ubiquitous song for any school that has a band out there that are the Tigers. They play a version of Tiger Rag. And I wonder if Jackson State, the Jackson State Tigers and the Sonic Boom, their band, I wonder if they play Tiger Rag. So we could listen to each's version of that. You're saying that because of this, even though you don't like Auburn and you don't like Metallica, this whole story and listening to it has elevated them. You're putting them above the Sonic Boom?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Get Off My Vols has a question for you on the Country Pleasing text line, Beaver. He says, how can you not like Metallica?
A1 Lars Ulrich, B2, questions like that. That's like growing up when I was repeatedly asked, how can you not like the Saints? Because of your question. How can you not like our team? Oh, it's not our team. We don't have a team. You base your favorite team ever in the history of your world on geographical proximity. Mm-hmm. So I never liked the question.
All right. It's because of the implication.
It is indeed.
Isn't it, Beaver? It's because
I like that.
Yes. It's because of the implication. Beaver, it's the implication of obligation. And you are not obligated, therefore do not implicate it, the man says. Am I on to something?
I think so.
I understand it. I totally understand it. It's like going to let me give you another one, Beaver. Okay, speaking from experience. It's like going to high school 45 minutes from Auburn's campus. Okay, and everybody at your high school being all about Auburn and wanting to go to Auburn. And most of them going to Auburn. Then it's like, no. I refuse this implication of obligation. I refuse it. Well, at any rate, okay, so I've always said that Auburn's band was very underrated and that they had the best version of Tiger Rag that I'd heard out there over the years. I think it's superior. I've always felt like their version of Tiger Rag was superior to Clemson, superior to LSU. Hold that tiger. So they got a good band, you know, and look, a lot of this is timing at right place, right time. The developers of this EA college football video game just happened to be at an Auburn game the night that they did See, this story, Beaver, said that Auburn's band won, get this, you ready? Get this, the 2023 Metallica Marching Band Contest. The Metallica Marching Band Contest. Didn't know that we had that, but they won it and they went and performed Metallica at halftime. And it resulted in the video game people saw it, liked it. They had a laser light show going on. Because football's not enough and band's not enough. So we had a laser light show with it. Get off my lawn, you young whippersnappers. And they were like, this is cool. And so they said, let's invite them. And so they went and got the Auburn band. The pictures are pretty neat. Like I said, they shared them on Instagram, Auburn Bands. And it shows some behind the scenes of when the EA people were there recording it, kind of how they had the band positioned in the basketball arena. You know what? And that is not the new basketball arena. That's the old Beard Eves Coliseum. That's the old basketball arena at Auburn. That's the old one like that Charles Barkley played in and stuff. And he had microphones in there and recorded. So when you play the video game, you hear a band playing the theme to the video game. That'll be the Auburn band. I thought it was a pretty neat story myself. Especially on June the 25th. Let's see. Jared texted the show. What is this? What am I reading here? Jared texted and said, quote, best we can hope for, quote. Okay, I know here's what it is. It was when Sven texted in and said 4-8 with a 30% chance of a fifth win. That's the best we can hope for, talking about Mississippi State football. So Jared said, best we can hope for, we need a lesson in hope. He said, it's not just about expectations or possibilities. It's about desire, all caps. Apply that to more than football and increase your desire in life. Jared, man, you're out here trying to motivate somebody on a Wednesday. What's going on, Jared? You got motivational speaker Jared over here. Jared, he said it's about desire. You apply that to more than football to increase your desire in life. Go ahead and say it, Jared. And if we don't, we're going to be living in a van down by the river. It's true. Okay, and what it was Rotor Wash who earlier was making a connection. He said, too many Ole Miss fans started wearing Tampa gear. And he said, yeah, Ole Miss fans put the reverse curse on Jake by talking about Tampa Bay. He said they never liked their true mayor. Well, Jake would be the first to tell you it's a team game and hit streaks come and go. Okay, they're nice, but whatever. They won the game. He drove in a run. He's still batting over 300. They win the game. They picked up another game on the Yankees. They're one game back in the division. So tonight it's go Rays, go Reds. Those two teams win. We have ladies and gentlemen, a tie for first place. Jake's a winner. All he does is win. Cue that one up from about 2012? Is that over 10 years old? Gosh, where is the time going? Remember when All I Do Is Win was popular? When it was current? I just think it was neat. It's over 10 years old, man. Where's the time gone? Scott texted the show. He said, you nailed it, Beaver. The whole suing everybody thing over any and every note played by them, Metallica. Metallica's been suing anybody that even kind of sort of played their music. Is that what happened? So Scott is on Beaver's side of the Metallica thing. Doesn't like them and refuses the implication of obligation to like them. RT said, this Metallica talk is causing me to enter Sandman. All right. We'll have something else coming up for you, RT. Back after this.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. What that is. That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country pleasing sausage, these flavors and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com, at a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. You know, it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here and the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. Get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
Our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
When you buy a new house, you might say,
"Shut the front door."
Winning!
No, seriously, shut the front door. We own this house now.
But you actually need to say,
"Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there."
That's right. The local State Farm agent is there to help you choose the coverage you need.
Welcome to my crib. No one says that anymore, but I don't care.
So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. That means it could be you, your best man, your worst man. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org to know where you stand. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
11-year-old Mehdi lives in Ethiopia in extreme poverty. Child Fund works in 25 countries to ensure that millions of children like Mehdi grow up healthy, educated, self-sufficient, and safe. Learn more at childfund.org.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
We are good to go.
With more of the Matt Wyatt Show. Coming to you direct and live. The Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
at thezone1059.com.
All right, hour 2 of the show. Off and running with you. In the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. That's very, very important, because if he's not, then nothing happens. You don't hear me, and that's the truth. I'd say most importantly, though, you're here. Appreciate you being here, being a part of the show, and commenting and texting and calling and all those different things. Listening. Thank you. Got a reason to be here because of you. Yeah, so you can text me on the Country Pleasing text line. That number, 885-3776. Got it? 601 number, 885-3776. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It's the best. Like I said, we're going to have a bunch of food, Country Pleasing sausage, and other goodies on the grill from Country Meat Packers on Highway 49 in Florence when we have this show broadcast live on Friday, this Friday, from Camper Corral in Madison / Gluckstadt, up there at the Gluckstadt exit. Camper Corral. Y'all come on out there from 12 to 2. We'll have some food. I'd love to see you, even if it's just for a second. Pop in, shake a hand, grab something to eat, take off. I understand. You're busy. But better yet, they're having the customer appreciation sale for 3 days. That's just part of it on Friday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, their customer appreciation sale at Camper Corral, which is huge discounts. And so if you're in that market and in that travel world where I wish I was, in the RV and camper territory, you can get 20% off all parts that are sold there at Camper Corral Thursday through Saturday. There's 20 to 40% off MSRP on all their campers. And if you buy a new or used camper or RV in those 3 days, you are automatically entered into a drawing to win one of those Flex Armor roof upgrades. It's valued anywhere between $6,000 and $10,000. Right? Right. So come on out. We'll see y'all on Friday. Well, Friday, okay, I'll say it like a real radio talker. Friday. Sometimes I get laid back and I speak the way I do normally. And around here we say Friday. Is that okay? I don't know if that's okay or not. Let me go to the judges panel over here. Hey, Beav, is it okay to not say Friday on the radio and just say Friday?
D?
Yeah, Friday.
No. That's not how you pronounce that word. Friday. That's F-R-I-D-E-E.
Monday. Tuesday. Beav, listen, it is a heck of a test. You know, now that I think about it, if you're training someone to sort of learn how to manage their dialect and accent, whether it's a Southern accent or any other, and push it more towards a non-regional diction type of thing, if that's what people try to do if they want a career that goes way up, supposedly. But that's it. I mean, you can start with making this distinction between, don't say Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Beav, how do you say it in normal conversation? Like if you're at home and you're talking to is it big C or big L? Big L?
Big L. Big L, little C.
I got them mixed up. Sorry about that. If you're home and you're just chilling talking to Big L, how do you pronounce the days of the week?
Monday,
Okay.
Tuesday,
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Kind of like the rest of the world, Matt Wyatt.
You didn't have to give me that last little jab there, Beav. I picked up the tone in your voice.
You know what? I'm sorry, because I feel like I'm coming off the heels of Annabeth. She's judging you about your pie eating.
Man.
I'm judging you about your changing words to EE. I take it back. I don't want to jump in. pile on.
I know. I mean, because we got a long week left, Beaver. There's still.
I know.
It's.
I don't.
Hey,
I don't mean to come at you.
It's only Wednesday.
I also want to say I did not mean to sound like I was coming at get off my balls either. That's not what I was doing, my man. I'm sorry it came off that way. Not my intention.
I saw that text too. Apparently it was a little rough. Get off my balls said, wow, wasn't expecting a rebuttal like that. Question was more to the music. Didn't mean to push your button, my man. Beaver, it's not his fault, though, that he's a little sensitive. It's not his fault. He's a Tennessee fan. It's
well, now you're coming at him.
It's to be understood. They are good people. Beaver, Tennessee fans are good people. They are just sensitive. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive. Beav, do you have friends, family, others, close confidants that it's an individual here or there, they're just more sensitive to things than other people?
Yeah.
They get their feelings hurt easier. Maybe that comes from a place of, maybe there's some experience that has driven them to that point. You know what I mean, B? You don't judge them for being a little more sensitive. You just understand, hey, that guy over there, don't pick on him the same way you do other people, because he gets his feelings hurt.
He said, OMG, say sensitive one more time.
Sorry. See, get off my balls. Again, all this was I'm thanking you for giving me 2.5 to 3 minutes of radio content. And for your trouble, here's your fight song. Everybody do the woo. Everybody do the woo. Let's go. There you go. We're just kidding. I'm just kidding. I like Tennessee fans. Now, I will say, even my daughter, Mary Lydia, she's not an Ole Miss fan. She would not classify herself as an Ole Miss fan. But I think she was watching the night on television when they threw the golf ball and the mustard bottle at Lane Kiffin. Okay, and my wife, Annabeth, she is an Ole Miss fan, so I'm sure, I think her reaction was like, I cannot believe that. Those, rotten, no good Tennessee fans, look, that's how they treat people, throwing things at them, golf balls. And I think it made an impression on Mary Lydia. And so even though she likes the song Rocky Top and always has, she can really sing it well. I think her impression is, man, Tennessee fans, they throw stuff at you. But hey, we all got a few bad apples in the fan base, right? Don't we? State's got some. I'll admit it. I don't know what the percentage is, but the huge majority of State fans, good people, feet on the ground. Right. They are gentlemen and they are ladies. They're good folks, a huge majority. But there's some. You don't want them walking your dog. Okay, we've all got some. We've all got that. All right, over on the Country Pleasing text line, White Denzel said, speaking of pie, how was that pie yesterday? All right. Beaver, did you partake of the Dolly Parton brand original whipped cheesecake pie that you bought? Did you eat some of it?
I did. Yes, I did.
How was it?
White Denzel. Let me just cut to the end. Let me tell you where this pie is at right now. It's at the bottom of the trash bag.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. I tried a slice. It's in the garbage.
Oh, no. I hate to hear that. I mean, it reflects poorly on Dolly. And it should.
Well, she has no business getting in pies. Just like I'm looking at it because I just went to the Googs, and she's also her name. Her name is also involved in she's selling frozen meals, like TV dinner style. Come on, what are you doing?
I have threatened to do this before. I have never done it, but I'm going to do it this time. When this show is over, I just made a marker on my little machine over here that records audio from this show. It's marker number 2. I'm going to know exactly where to find it. When you said regarding Dolly Parton, you said emphatically with a raised voice, she has no business getting in pies. That was fantastic. TV dinners? Like frozen dinners for the microwavable stuff?
Yeah, let me go back to this. And so let's look at her lineup. Products. Desserts, frozen meals and sides, breads, and breakfast. Now, Dolly, you're not a chef. You're not a cook. Like, this is not what we know you for. So that's why it struck me odd from the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, my hat's off to you, Beaver, for one, going through, putting the effort in to buy it, putting the money in to buy it. And then to actually try. Here's my impression of you, Beaver, for the most part, is we talk about a lot of things that pop up on the market. New things, out of the ordinary things that get our attention. Seldom, though, do you run out and buy something that's not a part of your normal sort of routine, or just you kind of stick to what you know. The only other example of this would be when you bought the box of the Nutty Buddy oatmeal cream pies. But I mean, that was 6 months ago. And so I'm impressed that you kind of threw caution to the wind and bought the thing. Okay, so you get credit for that. Somebody texted in and said, Matt, I agree with Beeve. Said that Dolly Parton chocolate pie sucks too.
That was also right beside the cheesecake. And I sat there for a second because, White Denzel, obviously he's the one that I didn't know Dolly Parton's name was attached to pies. And he had texted this one in originally.
Yeah.
That's what the curiosity got me, because I was looking for this pie that you keep touting.
Yes. Right.
That's what started this whole thing, because I'm not a man who ever goes and buys a pie. But I was looking, and I saw that. I said, oh, this is what White Denzel sent. Right next to it was chocolate. So I stood there for about 30 seconds. I was like, oh, maybe I should get that chocolate. But I had to stay true to White Denzel's recommendation.
Uh-huh.
So I did see the chocolate this person speaks of.
Yeah. Well, you see, Dennis, formerly of Omaha, says Dolly needs the money. TV dinner money. What is that? Is that a lot? Beaver, is TV dinner money a lot of money? I don't know if it is or not.
I mean, I'm sure that Hungry Man made a pretty good amount of money off TV dinners.
Yeah. Denzel says that Dolly also has a line of cookware only available, and he put Dollar General. Is that right? So you can buy Dolly brand pots and pans. I would do that. I'm just a big fan of Dolly. Okay, the person. I'm a big fan of Dolly Parton, the person, singer, the entertainer. She's absolutely amazing. That's what she is. One of a kind forever. Okay, Dolly is Dolly. Iconic Dolly. I mean, Islands in the Stream with Kenny Rogers, Dolly. 9 to 5 and all that. I just wonder why at this point, 2025, we got a Dolly Parton cheesecake. Okay. Regarding my comment, a little remembrance of some Tennessee fans that were throwing a golf ball and a mustard bottle at Lane Kiffin. Gene commented on Facebook and said, Ole Miss fans throw stuff at our players. They have. Well, and see, like I said, Gene, every fan base has got a handful of knuckleheads. They've all got them. That happened. I was on the sideline. It was Battle for the Golden Egg, Oxford, 1996. And somebody on that side of the stadium, which back then, see, the sideline that is Ole Miss's home sideline now was the visiting sideline back then. And so that's where we were. And somebody threw a bottle. It was a liquor bottle. Somebody threw a bottle down there at us. But see, that's not indicative of 95.7% of Ole Miss fans. It's just you got a few knuckleheads. Every fan base has got some of them. Let me get caught up. I missed a couple things. I think this, I did read about this. Sven mentions on YouTube, this is baseball related. Mississippi State just took left-handed pitcher freshman William Kirk from Virginia out of the transfer portal, redshirt sophomore. Said he was the 2024 Gatorade New Jersey Baseball Player of the Year. For whatever that's worth, said as a senior, he went 5-0 with a .22 ERA in 26 appearances. Struck out 62 batters in 32 innings as a senior, and then batted .481 with 9 home runs. It's a heck of a baseball player. It's a heck of a senior year. Yeah, State, Coach O'Connor, a huge chunk of his Virginia team is now the Mississippi State team. That's how that transfer portal thing is working. And just like I said, if you're a State fan, I am one, you're glad, right? Putting the team together, going to give you some real excitement and hope. There's been a few other transfers from other schools, too, in there at key positions. But a bunch of Virginia kids coming with him. And like I said, when it happened, if that's going to be the play, then if it reverses on you and happens to you, coach leaves and takes your players, you can't be for it when it benefits you and hate it when it doesn't, right? That's just, I guess, but I think most everybody just kind of understands that now. Yeah, now I would say you probably get more of this there. Somebody texted in and said that LSU fans throw liquor bottles at everybody's fans. And truthfully, you hear more stories of that kind of thing in Baton Rouge and Tiger Stadium and LSU fans than anywhere else. You just do. It's true. It's true. And again, it's not indicative of all LSU fans. But they've got their fair share of those. You see what Thibodeau texted us? He said, Dolly Parton being in the frozen food game reminds me of Smokey Robinson releasing a frozen gumbo several years ago. Why would he? Assuming it's true, Thibodeau, I know you tell the truth. Why would Smokey Robinson, of all people, release a frozen gumbo of all things? That's oddball now. Oddball. Of course, this is this is a good time of year for that kind of stuff. I mean, it really is. Blind Squirrel Sports said it sounds nasty. Well, I don't know. I mean, you ever had like soup or stew or chili or anything like that? Like you freeze it for later and thaw it out. It can be really good. Depends on how hungry you are. Yeah, and a good point regarding fan bases throwing things at other fans and all that kind of stuff. You know, we've had these examples. Good point. Gene on Facebook says Ole Miss fans throw beer on themselves in the outfield. That's true. It's true. They're doing their fair share of throwing things around, right? They're on the throwing things list. I mean, they sure are. You know, this all started, okay, honestly, this all started with just having a good time with Get Off My Balls. He's a good listener, texter to the show, so we were just having a good time with his text. And it all started with the Auburn band and the Metallica thing. If you don't know what that is, from hour number one, I'll clue you in here in just a minute. We get back into the headlines. Beaver doesn't like Metallica. Fair question. He said, how can you not like Metallica? Beaver said, among other things, because of questions like that. And so then we accused, when he said, look, I didn't mean to push your buttons. Then I accused Tennessee fans of being sensitive, which was a joke. But it's an example of, like, you take out the big broad paintbrush and paint one group of people all the same. And that's just not true. And that's the same for all fan bases. You have some good and some bad and all of it, right? So coming up, the text line, Joe and Thibodeau and RT and all y'all coming to you on the Country Pleasing text line. We'll hit headlines here in hour number 2 as we roll along today on this Wednesday. Stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar, or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
Grew up on a family farm out past Leland, just born and raised here in the Mississippi Delta. Never really thought about moving out. You know, it's where my roots are. Our family's a big sports family. It was 4 boys and 1 girl, and all 4 of us boys went and played ball at Delta Community College. My dad, he's always been honestly a role model of mine. He's farmed his whole life. We attend St. James Catholic Church in Leland, where we went to church my whole life, and then now continuing my family, me and my wife and my 3 kids. Being a Christian is everything for me and my family. Being born and raised here in this area, there's just something about this area. I mean, when you pull into it, you don't see a whole lot, but being born and raised here and the farm families and just the people that grew up here, the people that you see here, you see in the grocery store, you go to church with, small town community, you're gonna run into people that you know. It puts a smile on your face knowing that you know the people in your area, in your community. Get to know them as friends and now bring them in to my office here and creating that relationship, extending it on, getting them as insureds, as customers of mine, who I call friend. I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau, and we are the home team.
Y'all heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com.
They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff. They really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the
for you.
Just listen to that!
At The Zone 105.9 and coming to you worldwide at TheZone1059.com.
All right, back with you. Staying connected because of C-Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C-Spire, customer inspired. Check them out at cspire.com. Sven asked the question earlier on the live stream. He's over in Berlin, Germany, watching on YouTube. And he was wondering, he was wondering about the number of transfers from Virginia. But is this, guys, are y'all saying this is the number that have transferred to Mississippi State? Surely not that many. I didn't think it was that many. Anyway, Hunter, is that what you're saying? I saw the comment where you said, I just looked it up, Sven, 11 total, 7 position players from Virginia. I mean, that can't, surely not 11 Virginia players. Really? RT says, yeah. 11 players from Virginia are now Mississippi State Bulldogs, and 7 of those are position players. Boy, howdy, I didn't realize that. So when I said half their team, or a chunk of their team, I should have said half their team. Half the Virginia team from you go now. Mississippi State Diamond Dogs. Wow. Thanks for that, Hunter. And thanks, RT. How about that? Thibodeau texted the show. He said regarding the Smokey Robinson frozen gumbo, he said it was late 90s, early 2000s, and he did commercials for him himself. I missed that. I missed it. Joe Mailman said, the last Egg Bowl in Oxford I went to years ago got cussed out pretty bad walking to the stadium for having on maroon. Oh, yeah, that's happened to me too. Happened to me too. Not at the game. I was in town. I was in Oxford. And see, I really like Oxford, the town, a lot about it. And I certainly like the surrounding area, Lafayette County. I think it's a nice place. But yeah, I was in town with Annabeth and Mary Lydia. Mary Lydia was much smaller. And we were just bebopping down the street near the square there. And I had on a maroon shirt. And it was as you would expect, it's like a group of college age guys. And they rather than just address me directly, they made a point to want them to speak really loudly right next to us so that I was forced to hear it. And something about maroon and them hating state and all that kind of stuff. I thought, okay, that's funny. That's cute. But don't take it too far, boys. Or I'll be like, it'd be like that scene with Robert Duvall in Secondhand Lines. We're going to have to learn a lesson or two. We'll be putting steak on bruises before it's all said and done. No, but I digress. All right. So if you just tuned in, had headlines in hour 1, we'll cue it up again here, hour 2.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Anything mortgage related, buying, refinancing, that's where you want to go. Here in the metro, places like Tupelo, Starkville, Oxford, all the way to Memphis, in between. Start there. The kind of people you want to do business with. mortgagemanms.com. Jake Mangum's hit streak came to an end last night at 10 games. He was 0 for 4, but he did drive in a run in a win for the Rays over the Royals, 5-1. They'll play game 2 of that series in Kansas City tonight. Meanwhile, the Yankees lost in extra innings in Cincinnati. So now 1 game separates them. Yankees have a 1-game lead over the Rays, and we'll see what happens here tonight over in that division. Braves beat the Mets. The Mets are on kind of sort of historic losing streak right now after being really, really good there for a while. Headline 2, a decision on whether or not to expand the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments is going to be made in the upcoming weeks. That's according to reports and comments. If the decision is made to expand the NCAA basketball tournament field, that expansion would begin in the 2025-26 season. Now, sources have indicated that 76 is the more likely expansion option than 72. Current format for both, they've got 68 in there, so they're going to put, 8 more teams in on both, men's and women's, 8 more teams make it. This is a whole, the more the merrier thing. Is that what's going on? And then finally this, if you're a video game, what do you call that? Not player, but like if you play video games. All right. If you play video games and you boot up college football. Yeah, okay. Homecoming Queen just walked by in a hurry and said they're called gamers. All right. If you're a gamer, thank you very much. If you are a gamer and you play college football 26 video game this summer, you are going to hear the Auburn University band playing the main theme that welcomes you to this video game. The reason anybody knows that is because the Auburn band themselves let the cat out of the bag and put it on Instagram this week, and even behind the scenes photos of when the EA Sports developers chose Auburn, the Auburn marching band, and came in there and recorded them playing the EA theme and all that kind of stuff. Well, the story says what it goes back to is the developer for Electronic Arts, or EA. They were inspired by the Auburn marching band's halftime performance 2 years ago, 2023, at a game between Ole Miss and Auburn at Auburn. And that night, it was a night game, had a halftime show and a light show, and it was Metallica themed. Music and everything was all about Metallica. Now, this is a snippet of it because the whole thing's on YouTube. You can watch the halftime show, and I'll admit it's pretty neat, especially the light show and all they did back then. That's funny. RT said Auburn's now counting band national championships. That was good. So this is the halftime performance the EA Sports people saw, and they were like, we want this band. We want them. I mean, even Alabama fans have to admit it's pretty good. Unnamed texter says Metallica, best heavy metal band ever. Fact. Well, not according to everybody, it didn't. Okay, so yeah, that's the performance. 2023. It was a halftime of Auburn hosting Ole Miss. They had the EA Sports people there. They were like, okay, this is the band we want. And so they've gone and gotten them. And so hats off, the Auburn band. Those are your headlines, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. So when RT texted and said Auburn's now counting band national championships, that got a ha from Blind Squirrel Sports, our Georgia friend over here on the YouTube live stream. I figured he'd like that. And Blind Squirrel, although, hold on, he says, to be honest, RT, he says, I am allegedly proud of Georgia's equestrian national championship, and said, just don't tell anyone I said that. Well, no, be proud of it. Be proud of it. Doesn't matter if you understand it or have anything to do with it or not. You want to be a fan, be a fan. Hey, look, Mississippi State has national titles in like some kind of meteorology something or another competition. Somebody said the other day, if you're watching the weather on television, period, you're probably watching a Mississippi State grad. All right, meteorology school, I'm proud of that. Why can't I be proud of the meteorology national championship? I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they decide. I don't know what they do. I can be proud of it. You can too, Blind Squirrel. Equestrian. I think it's cool. I don't know anything about it. I just know, all I know about equestrian championships and competitions, the little hat with the chin strap that goes under their chin, and those knee boots. Boots all the way up to the knee. That's all I know. But it's your school. Be proud of it. I didn't know Georgia had an equestrian team. And I'll tell you this much, Blind Squirrel, you might not, stuff like that, equestrian, you might not be proud of that stuff while you can, because with the way this whole athletics department sharing the revenue, giving most of it to the football team because that's the only one generating revenue, and a lot of these other sports are going to go by the wayside. So some of those peripheral programs and sports and athletics departments, even in big ones and wealthy ones like Georgia, you better be proud of it while you can, because they're going to be slashing them right and left going forward. That's pretty much a guarantee. All right, a little bit of time left with you. When we come back, we'll hit the text line from Dog Tired and Jared and Hunter and Denzel and RT and all y'all, and see what we can do with the time that we have left together here on this Wednesday, not Wednesday, Wednesday. I'm Matt. Beaver is here, back after this.
Y'all heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. Say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, "Country pleasing, please." They'll know what you're talking about.
I was born and raised in Greenville. I've always called Greenville home. This is where I, was raised, went to high school, graduated high school, worked all my life here, leading up to going to college. So even when I moved from Greenville, I always told people, they asked me where you're from, I always said I'm from Greenville. I have mother, father, brother, niece, aunt, all live here in Greenville. So this is home. This is where I, live, and I've just always called it home. Small town, I feel like I could walk in any place tomorrow and know 2 to 3 people in there. It's small town. Someone's on the side of the road broken down. Hey, you need a boost, flat tire, you need help changing it. That's just kind of, what I love about this area. The blues and the food and everything that comes along with the Mississippi Delta that I love. I tell people all the time, my business card.
You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Blind Squirrel Sports texted the show, or commented on YouTube, that is, and he said, any chance we can get some Sonic Boom before the show ends? Asking for a friend named Sven. Ask, and ye shall receive. Get Ready is the name of the song. All right. Dog Tired said, you said the old, what, Miss commenting on Maroon, you said that's cute. Is there a more, what, a worse comment than that's cute? Denzel said, okay, we read that one about the cookware in Dollar General. Jared said on 247 and on 3, they report 12 total transfers in for state baseball, with 5 coming from Virginia, 2 pitchers, 3 position players. Now I'm confused. Come on! Roll your window down, turn it up to 11, turn a few heads. Oh, wait. Denzel, I didn't read it. I'm about to read it right now, Denzel. Hang on. The Sonic Boom in your living room. There you go. Just for you. Thanks for the request. Denzel said, man, Auburn band keeps getting better. Time better than Lars does. Shouldn't be surprising because Lars, I think you meant stinks. Is that what you meant, Denzel? Did you say Lars stinks? Yeah, are you in the Beaver camp if you don't like Metallica? Is that where you are? He don't like him. But even though he gave an honest opinion of, Auburn's rendition of their stuff, and it was really good, he gave props to the Auburn band. Major props to the Auburn band for what they did. And they're going to be on the video game playing a theme and all that kind of stuff. See, we can be objective around here, unlike other places. All right, here you go. On this day in sports history, on June the 25th, 1985, June the 25th, 1985, ABC's Monday Night Football began with a new lineup, a new trio of broadcasters, none other than Frank Gifford, Joe Namath, and O.J. Simpson. Not lost on me the irony that part of the original Monday night theme song sounds a little bit like we're walking in to see Judge Judy. Okay, also on this day in history, where is this? Okay, here we go. Try this one on. On this day, in 1993, sorry for the pause. I had to make sure it was the year was right. June the 25th, 1993. Not that long ago. Don't. It was not that long ago, okay? Late Night with David Letterman aired for the last time on NBC. Now we know that it switched over, right? We know that it switched over to what? CBS? Or was it ABC? Went over to the other one. I think CBS. He went to CBS. The last time that it aired on NBC was way back in the early 90s. June the 25th, 1993. Now, since we have a Letterman reference, it gives me the excuse to bring to you my favorite of all time, of all the ones they ever did, my favorite top 10 list ever in the history of Late Night with David Letterman, and it involves, God rest his soul, Minnesota Twins legend Kirby Puckett.
Tonight's top 10 list, do me a favor, please welcome Kirby Puckett. Kirby, come on out! Category tonight, top 10 ways to mispronounce the name Kirby Puckett. Top 10 ways now to mispronounce the name Kirby Puckett. Here we go. Number 10.
Kobe Pickett.
Number 9.
Creepy Pockets.
Number 8.
Bernie Crumpet.
Sure. Number 7.
Turkey Bucket.
Number 6.
Buddy Hackett.
All right. Now back to top 10 ways to mispronounce Kirby Puckett. Number 5.
The Puckett formerly known as Kirby.
Yeah. Number 4.
Punky Brewster.
Yeah. Number 3.
Ken Herbeck.
Yeah. Number 2.
There once was a man from Nantucket who Kirby'd his own Puckett.
Kirby'd his very own Puckett. Actually, Kirby'd his Puckett. And the number 1 way to mispronounce the name Kirby Puckett.
Ingle Puck Kirby Dinks.
There you go.
That's my favorite of all time. of all time. Tip of the cap to, man, when late night television was really entertaining and clever and well written and all that jazz. Birthdays on this day, born on this day, June 25th, 1943. She's still around. Carly Simon.
You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you.
Yeah.
You're so vain.
You're so vain, she said.
You think this song is about you. Don't you?
Carly Simon, she's saying that. Also born on this day, June 25th, 1947. He's still around as well. Jimmy Walker, better known as JJ on Good Times.
Good time. Anytime you need a payment. Good time.
Oh, it's a great show. It's hilarious.
Not getting hassled, not getting hustled, keeping your head above water, making a way when you can. Temporary
layoffs.
Easy credit ripples. Good times.
That's it, Craig.
Good times. Hanging in a jar. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got 'em?
Big fish.
Good times.
Ah, yes. One of the great theme songs. This is a great show. It's really funny. JJ. Dynamite. Go look it up. Neptune texted the show with a nice little AI version of a graphic for this show, and look at it there. It's got me and Beaver, the Matt Wyatt show. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sending that. I said AI. You might have done that. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Thanks for sending that along. Joe Mailman says on the Country Pleasing text line, for your next birthday cake, request Dolly Parton cake mix. It's out there. Well, if you get the mix, then you're in a little bit more control of whether or not it tastes good or not. It's a little more on you than just buying it already made, right? Now, rotor wash, and if this is true, it's pretty interesting here. Barbed wire, born on this day, 1867. So they invented barbed wire on this day in 1867. You know, part of me is thankful and other hate we need it. But happy birthday, barbed wire. A lot of people out there with arm tattoos from the late 90s that can celebrate today. National Barbed Wire Day. RT says, You're So Vain is more Bully's favorite song. And Kenny Don't Call Me Ken. His youngin' Blake's having a birthday today. Born on this day in 83. Happy birthday, Blake, wherever you are, however you're listening. Well, that'll be just about all the time. Well, a fun show today, y'all. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. This was fun. And for Beaver and myself, all of us here on the show, thanks for tuning in. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Here in the Bureau. That is the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. See you tomorrow.